The phone buzzed on my nightstand at 2:17 a.m., shattering the silence like a gunshot. I fumbled for it, heart pounding, expecting some emergency from work or maybe my sister. But the screen lit up with a name I hadn't seen in 5 years. Sarah, my ex-wife. The woman who'd walked out on our 10-year marriage with a cold note on the kitchen table, saying she needed space to breathe. I stared at the ringing device, my thumb hovering. Why now? After all this time? I answered, my voice thick with sleep and something sharper, dread. Sarah? What's wrong? Mark, she whispered, her voice cracking like thin ice. I need to talk to you. It's about us. About what happened. There was a pause, heavy with unspoken weight, and then a sob. I think I made a mistake. A huge one. My stomach twisted. 5 years of rebuilding my life. New job, new apartment, even a few awkward dates, and now this? I sat up in bed, the sheets tangling around me, the room suddenly too small. What do you mean, a mistake? I asked, trying to keep my tone steady. But inside, suspicion flickered like a faulty bulb. Sarah had always been the one with secrets, little white lies about where she'd been or why she was late. I'd brushed them off back then, calling it love. Denial is a hell of a drug. We talked for hours that night, her words tumbling out in a rush. She was in a hotel room in Chicago, alone, she said. Her second marriage, to that slick real estate guy she'd met right after our divorce, had crumbled. He cheated on me, Mark. Can you believe it? After everything. There was irony there, bitter as black coffee, but I didn't laugh. Instead, I felt a pang of something old and raw. Heartbreak resurfacing like a buried wound. I pictured her face, those green eyes that used to light up when we'd dance in our tiny kitchen. I'm sorry, I muttered, not sure if I meant it for her pain or mine. But as she spoke, subtle clues slipped in. She mentioned our old house, how she'd driven by it last month. It looked the same, like nothing changed. Wait, she'd been in town? Without telling me? Suspicion gnawed deeper. The next day, I couldn't shake it. I paced my living room, replaying her words. Why reach out now? I dug out the old box from the closet, the one with our wedding photos, her jewelry she'd left behind, and that damn divorce decree. Flipping through the albums, I stopped at a picture from our last vacation in Maui. Sarah smiling at the camera, but her eyes distant. I chalked it up to jet lag. Now it felt like a clue. I called my old friend Tom, the one who'd been my best man. Hey, remember Sarah's work trips? The ones where she'd come back, all glowing. Tom hesitated. Yeah, why? His tone was off, guarded. Nothing, I said, but my mind raced. Denial was cracking. Anger simmered beneath. Over the next week, Sarah called every night. Our conversations started nostalgic. Remember the time we adopted that stray cat? But they veered into confessions. I wasn't happy, Mark. You were always working. Blame shifted to me, and I felt the old guilt resurface. Yet, something didn't add up. She mentioned a colleague, Brian, from her marketing firm. He was just a friend, she said, unprompted one evening, her voice too casual. Help me through rough patches. Rough patches? When? I pressed gently. Like when? Silence stretched. Oh, after arguments. But we hadn't argued much. Or had we? Memories flooded. Her late nights at the office, the perfume that wasn't hers on her coat. I'd ignored it, trusting her blindly. Now, suspicion bloomed into paranoia. I started checking old emails, the ones I'd archived. There it was, an innocuous message from Brian. Missed you last night. Can't wait for Vegas. Vegas? She told me that was a solo spa trip. Heartbreak hit like a wave, pulling me under. I confronted her on our next call. Sarah, who is Brian really? She gasped. What? How did you? Then tears. It was nothing at first, just flirting. But then, it became more. The betrayal unfolded in fragments, each one a dagger. It started 2 years before the divorce, she admitted. Stolen lunches, secret texts. I felt alive with him, she said, her words slicing through me. Anger exploded. Alive? What about us? Our vows. I shouted, pacing furiously. You lied to my face every day. She begged forgiveness, saying it was a mistake, that she loved me still. But trust? Shattered like glass underfoot. I hung up, the phone slipping from my trembling hand. Denial fought back hard. Maybe she was exaggerating. I needed proof. I messaged Brian on LinkedIn, stupid, impulsive, but he replied curtly, "Leave it in the past, man." That confirmed it. Then, the deepest cut. Sarah confessed they'd had a child together. A boy 4 years old now. "He's why my second marriage failed," she whispered. Brian didn't want the responsibility. The world tilted. Our infertility struggles, years of tests, tears, me holding her through the pain. And she'd conceive with him? Betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was a theft of our shared dreams. Anger morphed into a cold fury, then despair. I sat on the floor, sobbing for the life I'd lost, the man I'd been. But in the ruins, something shifted. I met Sarah one last time, in a neutral coffee shop. She looked older, weary, holding a photo of the boy. "He looks like you," she said softly. No, he didn't. But seeing her vulnerability, I understood her motivations. Loneliness, the thrill of escape from our routine life. It didn't excuse it, but it humanized her. "I can't forgive you," I told her, voice steady despite the storm inside. "But I release you." And me. We parted with a hug that felt like goodbye forever. 5 years after the divorce, that call didn't bring her back. It set me free. I sold the old house, started therapy, even traveled alone to Maui. Heartbreak taught me resilience, suspicion, to trust wisely. The collapse of our marriage wasn't just her fault. It was ours for not communicating. Now, I reflect on it not with bitterness, but wisdom. Life changes in a phone call, but healing? That's a choice.